an appointment with Dr. Asphyxia? And somebody loves you, I'm sure of it. Sure of it. Stray signals.
Hello, welcome to the stream. It has been a busy day for me. I'm very tired.
Cold from the morning, unread text glowing. I mute them again. Static in my chest like a late night station.
Do this analog.
Get my own voice back. I'm strange and still enough to hold myself when it gets rough. If I don't fit their little frame, I'll sign my name under other anyway. I'm soft and scared and tough. All at once is kinda rough. But every fault they say I have is just a pattern I can learn to love. Cat on my lap, she don't ask questions. Thinks my shaking hands mean it's time to play. Mirror on the wall keeps catching me thinking. Practicing hello like it's something to rehearse. I'm strange and still enough to hold myself when it gets rough. If I don't fit their little frame, I'll sign my name under other anyway. I'm soft and scared and tough. All at once is kinda rough. But every fault they say I have, it's just a pattern I can learn to love. What if I walk in, heart loud, palms sweating, and don't apologize? It is for taking up space. What if this quiet isn't a problem? Just how my signal reaches the room. I'm strange and still enough to hold myself when it gets rough. If I don't fit their little frame, I'll sign my name under other.
Alright.
I'm soft and scared and tough. All at once it's kinda rough. And every crack inside my glass throws little rainbows on my past. I'm lonely, yeah, that's true, but I'm learning how to stay with me
Oy vey.
too. If I'm the only one who shows up, maybe that's
Hello,
the
I'm
start
here. I'm atypical. I'm sorry. And I'm live. I'm trying to do a live stream every day. And last month yesterday I was not feeling up to it. I don't like being confrontational, and I know that my views on Quicksilver are pretty extreme. He's a very powerful card, and it doesn't seem like that on initial analytics. So I get a lot of pushback from from those from those opinions, and I'm trying something kind of new by using Inkscape to demonstrate the points that I'm going to be talking about. And today's topic is the Chavez illusion, which is why American Chavez is so good for consistency according to the hypergeometric math, and yet she doesn't really produce the results that you would expect of that. So like if you looked at Chavez at her height with things like new players and with bots and things like that, you would expect American Chavez to increase win rates, because these are players that and I'm using bots as though they were people, even though they don't consciously make decisions for themselves. These players should have a systemic advantage according to the hypergeometric math, which they don't yield any benefit from. And so initially when I started playing Marvel Snap, like most people with history in competitive Magic the Gathering, I took one look at Chavez and I said, no, she was probably the second card I cut from the starter deck after Quicksilver. And, like, don't get me wrong, I cut Quicksilver just like everybody else. Like, I saw him as a detriment rather than a benefit. But you would expect American Chavez, because she's supposed to be beneficial to the hypergeometric math, that she would be thinning the deck and helping people get to their quality draws faster. But that never really yielded results. Like, a lot of the rhetoric that is used against Quicksilver, Chavez doesn't stand up against. So like, I don't know. The point that I'm trying to get at is that one of the first things that was pushed back against me when I started taking note of Quicksilver's unusually high win rate was that one of the first things that was pushed back against me was that, you know, hypergeometric math proves that Quicksilver is bad, which wasn't really matching my observations. So the other curious thing about hypergeometric math in this context is that it has never really been accurate. So like, for instance, Arisham, the first thing that they did to try to balance Arisham was increases generated cards from 12 to 18, I believe. I'm pretty confident it was 12 to 18. And it didn't have any effect on his win rate. He was still a meta tyrant. And we would think that if hypergeometric math had a significant impact on win rates, that it would reduce him by a good 5 or 6 points at least, but that wasn't the case at all. And then with Crystal, you would expect the opposite. you know, in other games like Pokemon Pocket, Professor's Research is considered a staple card because of the depth of draw that it allows you to have. So you would think that a card like Crystal, even though it also gives your opponent a draw, because of how thin the deck is already, the 12 card deck, you would think that Crystal would increase the probability of you drawing a specific card significantly enough that she would be staple in every deck. But again, by just play experience, this has never been the case. Nobody has ever mainlined Crystal except in like Mr. Negative decks, in which case the timing of the draw is what's important, right? So I'm going to be using some terms here. Spherical Shang-Chi, which is a reference to spherical cows. In engineering, we use the term spherical cows in a frictionless environment at zero velocity and zero gravity, to just kind of say, like, ignore the bullshit, right? Ignore the specifics, just like imagining, you know, without all the bells and whistles, just all those factors to the side. So I'm going to be using Spherical Shang-Chi as the idea of like a targeted card, whatever it is that you're trying to draw. And then I'm going to be breaking down the probability of draw into 4 different categories, contexts: active, passive, passive active, and active passive. So your active draw probability is the probability of top decking something. So given a specific draw in a specific context of a specific game, of the cards that are remaining in the deck, what are the probability of drawing a specific card? That is your active draw probability. Passive draw probability is the conceptual in a hypothetical context of drawing cards. So it would be just simple geometric math. If you have 4 Llanowar Elves in a 60 card deck, you have a 4 out of 60 chance of drawing a Llanowar Elf on any given random draw. Multiply by the number of draws. There you've got your passive draw probability. Passive active draw probability is the hypergeometric draw probability. And we'll be going full into that discussion later. And then active passive draw probability, which is it's a modifier for other draw probabilities, to include things for like tutors and things that are not of the class but are similar enough to the class. So if you're looking for the chance of drawing a tutor or a counterspell, you would include the tutor in the pool, even though it is not a counterspell. So then we have EVs, which is expected value. That means overwhelmingly what you would expect from 1Z of probability. I am not qualified enough to explain Z-scores. But within a large amount of cases, what you should be expecting to draw from the given probability at play. If you have 20 lands in a 60 card deck and you make 10 draws, you have a 0.33 chance of drawing a land on any given random draw. So over 10 draws, you would have a chance of drawing 3.333 lands, right? So that would be your EV, who would expect to draw 3. And so for the first bullet point, we're going to be talking about how Magic players don't really use hypergeometric math as much as we give them credit to, as much as we give credit to them for using it. It is used occasionally, but it's usually very briefly for very specific questions about how many lands to put into a deck or how many copies of a specific card. It is not something that people typically build decks around. They don't typically cite things like hypergeometric math in terms of like deck building. I had to include 9 for hypergeometric purposes. Like, nobody bothers with any of that. Typically it's done with the land war axiom, which is a colloquial term that I picked up in Virginia, I believe. But the land war axiom is that if you draw a card and you wish you didn't draw it, you cut that card from your deck and you replace it with the card that you wish you would have drawn. That is a kind of rule of thumb that a lot of Magic players utilize, but there was a player, it must have been Virginia, there was a player that I met who called it the Lanowar axiom, and I've been calling it that ever since. And, you know, for as much weight as we give a 2% increase or decrease in draw probability in Marvel Snap, there have been people who have brought 61 card decks to Worlds before, just simply because they didn't want to decide if they wanted to cut one of 2 specific cards, right? So, like, it's not really that critical of a concept in Magic the Gathering, but, you know, while people do utilize it, it's not for the same reasons that we're trying to manipulate the tool to work in Marvel Snap. So let's talk about simple geometric probability. The idea of simple geometric probability is that if you have a 1x1, square, right, then you can figure out, you can use this as the probability of anything happening. So this is your given parameters, however much surface area a event takes up of the square is the probability that that event will happen. Everything outside of it is not the is a probability that it won't happen. And this allows you to do all sorts of neato things where, like, you can find the probability of something not happening by taking the inverse of the probability of it happening. Or if you have if you have one of these situations, you can find the probability of these two or these two, excluding this but not including these two, right? You can use the geometric probability to figure out all sorts of things. And so in this case, this is just simple two-factor, simple probabilistic thing, like a Punnett square, right? If you remember in biology class, if you've ever had to fill out a Punnett square, this is the same idea. And then hypergeometric probability is significantly more complicated, but it's basically simple geometric probability applied to simple geometric probability, which is why it's called hypergeometric probability. Because like you can have this as a 3-dimensional object, you can have this as a 22-dimensional object, and it would still be simple geometric probability. It's once you get out of once you start having interdependent variables, that's when you start needing hypergeometric math. So Alright, so if you have a bag of 5 marbles, 3 of them are blue, 2 of them are red, and you want to find the probability of drawing one marble, drawing a red marble, you have a 2 out of 5 probability. But once you take that red marble out, now you have 1 out of 3, or 1 out of 4 marbles, so now it's a 1/4 of the bag. However, if the first marble you draw is blue, you now have a 50-50 in drawing a red marble. So finding the probability of drawing a red marble on any given random draw requires knowing the simple probability of a complex branching line, right? You have variables that are dependent on the outcomes of previous variables, so that's why it's hypergeometric math. And the way that you would solve this is typically through inversion. So if you want to solve the probability of what are the odds on any given random or any given draw within the like of 5 draws, what's the probability of drawing a red marble? Instead, what you would do is find the probability of not drawing a red marble. So it'd be 3 out of 5, and then the second one would be 2 out of 4, and the next one would be 1 out of 3, and then it would be 0, and then it would be -1, right? And the way that that would be expressed. Oh, my text is so tiny. So the way that this would be expressed,
Tuned a little sideways, not the station they expect. But I'm learning how to like every flicker, every speck. My thoughts get loud and tangled, and the room feels way too bright.
technical difficulties, I'm sorry.
Strange signal through the lonely, through the night. I'm loving this lost frequency.
Is 5 factorial
That's quiet.
Divided by, or I'm sorry, it would be 3 factorial divided by 5 factorial, and then per individual for any individual draw, you would remove the draws that weren't being taken into account. So if you wanted to say by draw 3, it would still remain 3 factorial, but it would be divided by 2 factorial. So basically what I did there is draw 1, draw 2, and draw 3. That's the 3 factorial, which is 6, divided by 5 factorial, 5, 4, 3, and then I ignore the 2 and 1. So 5 times 4 is 20, times 3 is 60, so it'd be 6 divided by 60, so I have a 1 in 10 chance of drawing a red marble by draw 3. No, I'm sorry, no. I have a 1 in 10 chance, and then I have to take the inverse of -1, so I have a 9 out of 10 chance of drawing a red marble by draw 3. I am so sorry. I hope this makes sense. Basically, the 3 factorials in reference to the 3 marbles, and so it'd be 3, I have a 3 out of 5 chance, followed by a 2 out of 5 chance, followed by a 1 out of 5 chance. But since each time the amount is being reduced by 1, the population is being reduced by 1, it's 5 by 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and the 2 factorial cancels out the times 2 times 1 in the 5 factorial, and then I take all that probability and I subtract 1 from it, because we're trying to find the probability of drawing a red marble. So by draw 3, we have a 90% chance of drawing a red marble. Alright, so that's how hypergeometric math works. And then we get into the fun stuff. So this is an S curve, and this is a bell curve, and you can tell because this looks like an S and this looks like a bell. and this is a linear progression, and this is a normal distribution. So with our marble example, the probability of drawing a red marble is going to follow this curve. It eventually is going to reach 0, right? Or it's eventually going to reach 100%. Once you have drawn 3 marbles, the next one has to be a red marble if the previous ones were not. You cannot go 4 draws without reaching a red marble. So at the start it's very low. If you want to go with Llanowar Elves and Magic the Gathering deck, it'd be 4 out of 60 to draw a Llanowar Elf on the first draw, which is very, very low. It's about 1 in 15. And then as it continues, it slowly starts to get higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until you get about 30, draw 30, at which point you're more likely to have drawn at least 1 Llanowar Elf by that point. And then as you get past draw 30, it's unlikely that you're going to draw another Llanowar Elf, right? And if you take the difference between each of those steps and you apply it to a line graph, it starts off very small and tapered, and then once it gets up here, the difference between each step is at its greatest, and then it starts to taper back down again, similar to this curve and this curve, right? So this is a bell graph, a bell distribution. It's very common in statistics. And then similarly, if you had 1 red marble in the bag instead of 5, you would have a normal distribution. Or, I'm sorry, a linear progression. It would start off with each step getting just gradually closer, because you don't have a slope. This line is not being affected by the probability of either or red marble. So it's just continuously growing in a singular slope, which results in a normal distribution. Because any random draw from the bag of marbles could be the one that has the red marble in it. They're all equally likely from one another. So because Snap has 12 individual unique cards, it has a bimodal progressive, linear progressive line. Any given random card is going to be any given random draw. You are equally likely to draw any given card on any given random draw, and trying to infer a specific draw quality from a specific draw is a waste of time. This doesn't actually mean that by this draw you're going to draw a specific card, because any card that you're equally likely to draw it on draw 3 as you are to draw it on draw 5 and draw 6 on draw 9. It's all equal, so it's always going to be a normal distribution. And even if you try to take 2 cards and put them in the same class and try to force a hypergeometric distribution, you're going to find that even if you put it onto a Monte Carlo to figure out when you're going to draw one of those two cards, it's still going to come out as a normal distribution. It does not come out to a bell curve. And the reason why that's important is because in Magic, initially I thought that the issue was that a Marvel Snap deck was just too thin. The 12 cards is just not enough to develop a bell curve. But the reality is that even in Magic, like if I took the probability of drawing 1 of 4 Llanowar Elves, it still doesn't form a bell curve. You can run 100 Monte Carlos at 10,000 each, and it will never form a bell curve. It will always form a normal distribution. Because this isn't a measurement of the probability of drawing a card. This is a measurement of the variance of when you draw cards in relation to each other. And this is useful in very specific circumstances, but especially when you have a EV of how many lands you're going to be drawing. And then if you have an expensive spell, you can figure out like when the there's a term for this where it jumps up suddenly, but like where the slope starts to kick in, you can time your the EV of your land draw to that curve. It's just not very reliable because this is a measurement of variance, not a measurement of not a factor that you can directly manipulate. So that's the that is the essence of the Chavez illusion, is that like even under ideal circumstances, you can't model what is being promised by what is being promised by the hypergeometric math. You can't model it to actual card draws. It never works. It never comes out that way. It always comes out a normal distribution, because by the nature of shuffling, there's no bias for any specific card to be in any given position. So it doesn't come out like a Plinko machine where it forms a curve in the middle. It always is equally likely on any given position. And so the argument that Quicksilver is bad for your draws basically is that let's go with a nice cyan for Quicksilver. And then a nice blue for Chavez. All right, so if All right. So if I'm trying to graphically represent this, and I'm not really sure how to do that. I mean, the obvious answer is to use bar graphs instead of a line graph, but basically the idea for Chavez and Quicksilver is that Chavez is more access to the deck more frequently. That her passive draw is 1 out of 11, same as Quicksilver. But you start with 4 draws and you end at 8. And then Quicksilver would also have a 1 out of 11 chance of drawing any given card on any given random draw. But Quicksilver only has 3 draws on turn 1 and also ends at 8. So they end at the same probability where neither ends slightly higher, because it's 9/12, and 9/12 is greater than 8/11. So either way, both of the auto tutors are going to diminish the draw probability. 73% is less than 75%. Like there's no two ways about it. But if you're including American Chavez in your deck specifically for the card draw, specifically for the card variants, this still translates into a normal distribution graph. It does not translate into an S-curve. She is not pushing or pulling any cards earlier or later into the game, not in any meaningful way, right? You cannot detect the influence that American Chavez has on card draw, if any, externally. Like you could look at 10,000 games with American Chavez and Quicksilver side by side, and you wouldn't be able to determine which ones were which without having the answer in front of you, right? Without looking at like the draw of Quicksilver and the draw of American Chavez, because this being slightly behind this means nothing when it's on a line graph. So that's the Chavez illusion in a nutshell. And I want to make it clear that I'm not a I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a science. I'm not a statistics professor. I'm a loner who is hyper fixated on this particular topic. You know, if Lauren Whatevs or anyone with a math background disagrees with me, you should probably listen to them well before you listen to me. But hypergeometric math is not a valid form for critiquing and analyzing card draw probability. It does not function the way that it is promised to function. The terminology between the fluidity of the terminology of card draw allows people to say things like American Chavez increases your draw probability while Quicksilver decreases it when they have absolutely zero change from one another. And so that's I'm sorry, I hope this makes sense. I'm trying to explain throughput, and I don't know how to translate this correctly. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it a stream for the night. Thank you so very much for watching. I'm Dr. Asphyxia. This has been Atypical Radio. This is Stray Signals, and somebody loves you. I'm sure of it.
Cat ears twitch at the silence, like it hears what I can't yet hear. Are we particles or just patterns, passing through each other's fear? If I stay still, keep the lights low, maybe this is how we fit, both alone and held together, and somebody loves you.